Two Iranian scientists and philosophers. Abu al-Rayhan Biruni. Abu al-Rayhan Muhammad ibn Ahmad al-Biruni, 973 to 1048, was one of the greatest scholars of the Islamic Golden Age. He was an Iranian astronomer, mathematician, and philosopher whose explorations and discoveries, along with those of other great scientists, have established the grounds of modern science. Born in the city of Khiva near Ural, then part of Iran, in 973 AD, his family took an interest in the studies of science as well, which made him grow up in an environment encouraging to his interests. He was the first who was able to obtain a simple formula for measuring the Earth's radius. Moreover, he thought it possible that the Earth revolved around the Sun and developed the idea that the geological eras succeeded one another. On his return from India, Biruni wrote his famous book Quanam-i-Masudi, Al-Quanam al-Masudi fi al-Haya wa Najum, which he dedicated to Sultan Masood. The book discusses several theorems of astronomy, trigonometry, solar, lunar, and planetary motions and relative topics. In another well-known book, Al-Athar al-Baqiyya, he has attempted a connected account of ancient history of nations and the related geographical knowledge. In this book, he has discussed the rotation of the Earth and has given correct values of latitudes and longitudes of various places. He has also made considerable contribution to several aspects of physical and economic geography in this book. His other scientific contributions include the accurate determination of the densities of 18 different stones. He also wrote the Kitab al-Saydana, which is an extensive materia medica that combines the then existing Arabic knowledge on the subject with Indian medicine. His book, the Kitab al-Jamahir, deals with the properties of various stones. He was also an astrologer and is reputed to have astonished people by the accuracy of his predictions. He gave a clear account of Hindu numerals, elaborating the principle of position. Summation of a geometric progression apropos of the chess game led to the number 1616 degrees minus 1 equals 18446744073 709 551 619. He developed a method for trisection of angle and other problems which cannot be solved with a ruler and a compass alone. Biruni discussed, centuries before the rest of the world, the question whether the Earth rotates around its axis or not. He was the first to undertake experiments related to astronomical phenomena. He ascertained that as compared with the speed of sound, the speed of light is immense. He explained the working of natural springs and artesian wells by the hydrostatic principle of communicating vessels. His investigations included descriptions of various monstrosities, including that known as Siamese twins. By 1004, al-Biruni was in Jurjangia. He became a prominent figure at the Jurangian court, being often employed as a diplomat and as a spokesman for the throne. He continued, however, making his astronomical observations under the Shah's patronage. Abu Rayhan Muhammad ibn Ahmad Biruni was one of the well-known figures associated with the court of King Mahmud Ghaznavid, who was one of the famous Muslim kings of the 11th century AD. Biruni was a versatile scholar and scientist who had equal facility in physics, metaphysics, mathematics, geography, and history. At an early age, the fame of his scholarship went around, and when Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi conquered his homeland, he took Biruni along with him on his journeys to India several times, and thus he had the opportunity to travel all over India during a period of 20 years. He learned Hindu philosophy, mathematics, geography, and religion from the Pandits to whom he taught Greek and Arabic science and philosophy. Till his death, soon after 1050 in Afghanistan, Al-Biruni continued to write, turning his attention to problems of specific gravity, gemology, pharmacology, and Indian philosophy, the Patanjali, among other subjects. It's not clear when he wrote the Tafhim, his most important work on astrology. In all, the bibliography he himself drew up lists 113 titles, and this list can be expanded to 146, of which 22 are extant. He was then a most prolific author, and throughout his work, all of which is extremely technical, he maintained the highest standards of competence. He well deserved the epithet master bestowed on him by his admiring contemporaries. Biruni is the author of about 145 books, in which more than 90 of them are devoted to astronomy, mathematics, and related to themes geographical. During his 75 years lifetime, Al-Biruni succeeded in revolutionizing the numerous subjects and the way they were understood. His intelligence and the capacity of mastering various subjects and his ability to relate them together to gain a better understanding of each puts him among the greatest Muslim and Iranian scientists of all time. He died in 1048 AD at the age of 75, after having spent 40 years in gathering knowledge and making his own original contributions to it. Abu Ali al-Hussein ibn Abdullah ibn Sina was a Persian physician and philosopher. He was born in 980 AD at Afshana, near Bukhara, then the capital of the Samanid dynasty. The young Abu Ali received his early education in Bukhara, and by the age of 10 had become well versed in the study of the Quran and various sciences. He started studying philosophy by reading various Greek, Muslim, and other books on this subject, and learned logic and some other subjects from Abu Abdallah Natili, a famous philosopher of the time. While still young, he attained such a degree of expertise in medicine that his renown spread far and wide. At the age of 17, he was fortunate in curing Nur ibn Mansur, the Samanid king, of an illness in which all the well-known physicians had given up hope. On his recovery, the king wished to reward him, but the young physician only desired permission to use his uniquely stocked library. On his father's death, Bu Ali left Bukhara and travelled to Jurjan, where Khorwarisham Shah welcomed him. There he met his famous contemporary, Abu Rayhan al-Biruni. Later he moved to Ray and then to Hamadan, where he wrote his famous book, Al-Kanun fi al-Tib. Here he treated Shams al-Dawla, king of Hamadan, for severe colic. From Hamadan he moved to Esfahan, where he completed many of his monumental writings. He was the most famous physician, philosopher, encyclopedist, mathematician, and astronomer of his time. His major contribution to medical science was his famous book Al-Kanun, known as the Canon in the West. The Canon fi al-Tib is an immense encyclopedia of medical knowledge over 1 million words. It surveyed the entire medical knowledge available from ancient and Muslim sources. In addition to describing pharmacological methods, the book describes 750 drugs and became the most famous authentic materia medica of the era. He was also the first to describe meningitis and made rich contributions to anatomy, gynecology, and child health. His philosophical encyclopedia Kitab al-Shifa was a monumental work, embodying a vast field of knowledge from philosophy to science. In the field of music, his contribution was an improvement over Farabi's work and was far ahead of knowledge prevailing elsewhere on the subject. Doubling with the fourth and fifth was a great step forwards, and the harmonic system and doubling with the third seems to have also been allowed. Ibn Sina observed that in the series of consonances represented by open brackets n plus 1 close brackets /n, the ear is unable to distinguish them when n equals 45. In the field of chemistry, he did not believe in the possibility of the chemical transmutation, because in his opinion the metals differed in a fundamental sense. These views were radically opposed to those prevailing at the time. His treatise on minerals was one of the main sources of geology of the Christian encyclopedists of the 13th century. Besides Shifa, his well-known treatises in philosophy are Al-Najat and Isharat. Thank you for being with us.